Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the April 23rd, 2013 Fellowship of the Geeks live show. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining us via Google Hangout is the Laughing Hyena, Mike Marlowe.
Hello.
And Les Webster.
Good evening.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you.
Yay, back to the Central Time Zone.
Yeah, he's back to the Central Time Zone now. Woohoo!
For now.
For now. So, I hope everybody's doing well. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Been battling a little cold, but I'm okay.
Well, geez, I don't know how you can be getting a cold because it's not like it's 80 degrees one day and then 40s the next day.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
He says he's battling a little cold, but I expect Brad Pitt to come crawling through that window any minute.
Brad Pitt?
Wait, that's just a preview for what's in store.
I see, said the blind man to his deaf son.
What?
Here?
Here comes the bus. Throw him again.
The buses run often in this neighborhood.
About every, 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, probably more often than that if we were.
Oh. It's still early.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, no kidding. It seems like this entire month, we go 2 or 3 days of it getting up to upper 70s, 80s, maybe even mid 80s, and then the next day, 60 at the highest. I don't remember this ever being like this before.
For those of you watching at home, these two are complaining about spring in Dallas.
I'm not complaining about spring. I'm just complaining about the weather right now.
Which is spring. This is Dallas spring. This is not unusual.
It's
maybe we've had one or two more temperature drops than normal, but it usually does this every year.
Anyway. Before we get into our annual summer movie preview, I did want to take a couple of minutes to get a little bit more serious and offer our thoughts and prayers to the victims of the incident in Boston with the marathon that happened a week ago, 8 days ago, and then a little bit closer home to us, the explosion in West Texas it's going to be a week ago tomorrow. Last week was just a very tragic week. So I just want to offer our thoughts and prayers, and if there's any way y'all, any of it y'all could help out, I'm sure they would. We encourage you to do so, and just kind of mind blowing what has gone on.
It was a rough week.
Mm-hmm. Feel free to say something, Les.
No, well, I've read the articles and such causes of both the tragedies, and it is a sad situation, and my heart goes out to those people too. Our thoughts and prayers. And I'm going to iterate, if there's a way that you can see it to contribute to the causes there, it would be gratefully appreciated.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing about that. And of course, it was the anniversaries of the Branch Davidian. What was that? That was last Friday, the 20th anniversary.
21st, I believe. April 21st.
Oh, okay. So that was
That was Friday.
okay.
April
And then-
21st was Monday.
Was it?
No,
Today's the 23rd.
yeah, and it's a Tuesday, so it was a Sunday.
Sunday. Ah.
Sunday. Yeah.
Ah. Okay, we all got it wrong. It's only
Because that's also the date of the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yep, the 19th anniversary. Yep. So, let's move on to a little bit more fun topic and get into our annual summer movie preview. I've been trying to figure out when did the summer movie season start at the 1st of May? Because it didn't used to be. It was usually Memorial Day. Usually Memorial Day weekend was the weekend. That was when the first big blockbuster came out, and it kind of set the tone for the rest of the season. And now it's the 1st of May.
I'm not sure when it switched, but yes, it was mainly George Lucas that put Memorial Day weekend on the map in the 70s with the release of Star Wars, and then, of course, the Indiana Jones movies were on Memorial Day weekends also.
and it's just been sort of creeping forward ever since.
True.
Yeah. And of course, with the advent of comic book movies and them tying into Free Comic Book Day, which is the first Saturday of May, it just kind of really reinforces that move to use the entire month as a blockbuster film month.
True.
And basically taking it away from August and making August a little bit of a kind of a dead month, but I don't think that's the case this year. But we'll let you be the judge of it as we start going over the list. I've already kind of teased it a little bit. May 3rd is Iron Man 3. It's already been premiered in different countries, and some of the stuff's already been spoiled. So y'all need to be careful about getting on the internet, because you'll be able to learn some of the stuff that's going on in the movie. I won't spoil you. I've read some of the stuff, but I'm not going to post anything on the website. So, but are y'all excited about seeing this one? It looks interesting.
Mike?
Yeah, I am. I mean, yeah. I know. I realize now that I'm saying that I don't really sound all that excited, but
Yeah.
I see. Movies and I have a weird relationship, so I mean, I don't.
You're just friends.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't really.
Our acquaintances.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I made it second base with a movie. Actually, I can. It was, but
I'm not sure I want to follow that.
I mean, I like the first two Iron Man movies. They were entertaining. They were very entertaining. So I have high hopes for the third one.
Les?
The first one was interesting to me. The second one I didn't think was all that good, because personally I didn't think it was a very good villain for him. This one looks interesting, and with some of the things I've seen in trailers, it gives me a idea of why they did certain things. And if you know what I'm talking about, just in the trailer, you see something that probably doesn't fit all that well. And that concerns the Mandarin. The Mandarin has his back to you, and he has a tattoo on his neck. And if you look closely at the tattoo, you kind of go, what? But it could be an interesting movie. I'm just hoping that that they're not just leaning on the Avengers movie to pull this one through. This one has to stand on its own.
All indications are that it is. From what I have read, it's. I mean, I don't know the gist. I mean, I kind of know the gist of the story, nothing big, but I don't think it's just hey, it's an epilogue for the Avengers film. I think it can stand on its own.
Okay, good.
So, the next thing I have on my list is, was there anything else on the May 3rd that y'all saw that piqued your interest?
Let me just say that Iron Man 3 has already started to be plugged on Subway ads on television.
Oh, yeah.
So they're shooting early to get this thing going. That's what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it's already premiered in some countries because I saw something today. Someone has already videotaped what is. It could be. I don't know if it's going to be the post credit scene that we'll see here in America, but it's what they saw.
Okay.
Because they didn't. Because some parts of the country did, or some parts of the world did not get the shawarma scene in the Avengers.
Okay.
So
that was done way post-production for that movie, though.
well, it actually, in some cases, I think it actually after it premiered, they went back and when it came here to America, they attached that on. If I'm understanding correctly, so there may be another post-credit scene, or maybe they'll do like Avengers, and then halfway through the credits, they'll stop down for a scene, and then we'll get what the rest of the world's already seeing, and it's actually, I won't go into it, but I'll just say it is kind of funny from what I saw. The next thing I have on my list, unless y'all want to cover anything, is May 17th, Star Trek Into Darkness.
There's a Star Trek movie coming out this year?
There's a Star Trek movie coming out this year.
I still can't believe you skipped over the Tyler Perry movie. I mean, come on. Anyway.
Well, you can talk about it. Go ahead.
I don't know a thing about it and don't care.
A couple of the trailers I've seen are kind of funny. They have some funny parts to them, so I commend them on that.
What, Star Trek?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's essentially what I took out of the 2 trailers I've seen is the humor.
There needs to be some humor because there wasn't enough in the first one. It was one of the things that I thought was missing. There was a lot of character stuff that just wasn't there.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I actually don't want to beat on the first Star Trek movie if I can help it.
Okay. Yes, because you and I have already had that talk before. I could see there being more humor in this one just because the characters now know each other, so there can be that kind of humor. If you're talking about humor a little bit more along the lines to the original series. And I'm boring him already.
No, I'm just tired.
I'm excited to see this. It looks pretty interesting. I mean, I've heard different stuff of what may happen. They're actually being pretty tight-lipped about it, which I'm pretty pleased. It does look good. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, which is nice.
But let's make sure people understand that this is not Khan. This is a different character that they're using. So, this hype about, it's all this is Khan. No, this isn't. So it's a completely different character and direction that they're going with this.
good. I think the best thing they can do is distance themselves from what's already been done. I think if you're going to go to the extent, okay, and here I go. If you're going to go to the extent that they went to in the first movie to break the timeline, then they need to stay away from the timeline.
I agree.
Just to keep it consistent. And to do something new. I mean, the whole point is to do something new. But if they do Khan in the second flick, then they're doing Khan in the second flick again, and it doesn't work.
No, you're right. And this is supposed to be before they get to that point in Star Trek the Motion Picture, where that picks up. That's where Kirk returns to the starship. Should be anything now should be completely separate from those first five movies that they had.
Well, the first five, probably the first 5-year mission.
6 movies.
Yeah, 6 movies.
6. Thank you.
So
And it actually should be before or alongside what was the original series. And I really hope they don't start dipping into the original series too much for this. That's when they're going to lose people.
I know there's some characters that will show up that were from the original series, and I'm not, in addition to the crew, but there of course there's new characters as well. So I mean there'll be some nods to the original series, but I mean it's not going to be them. As far as I know, they're not borrowing from a storyline that we have already seen.
Good.
Anything else of that weekend that y'all see that's interesting?
No.
Or do we want to go to the monster weekend after that?
I have not heard of most of the stuff, so
Okay.
the monster weekend.
The monster weekend that follows.
Is that the week of Epic?
Yes.
Nope. That is the weekend of Fast and Furious 6 and The Hangover 3.
And Epic.
And Epic? Okay.
And Epic.
Yeah,
I don't know
Epic.
how I'm going to choose which 3 of those to go see.
Can I borrow your son to go see Epic? Because that would be the only one I would want to see of those 3.
Hell, you can have him.
Now, is that the end of the month?
The 24th, yeah.
24th.
Okay, so what about, when is After Earth coming out then?
The 31st.
Oh, that's 31st, okay.
Next week.
Which is the Smiths on Patrol?
Pretty much.
Yes, it's Will Smith and his son, and it's a story. I believe is it written by M. Night or is it directed by M. Night? I'm trying to remember. Anyway, it's a sci-fi movie.
Directed by, for sure.
Directed. Okay. Well, he may have written it too.
Maybe.
I know I read the one shot that came out, last fall, that Dynamite put out, and that was kind of interesting. It was based on Will Smith's character as a child. It was pretty good, but it seems like that's a long time. So obviously the movie had been pushed back because I can't see them doing that. But are y'all interested in the movie?
In Epic?
No, I think we moved on to After Earth.
Well, you
Oh,
mentioned
After
After Earth.
Yeah, well, I thought you were still in the week before with Epic. I'm not sure that I want to see another disaster movie in space, Return to Earth and it's a barren wasteland. Because that's what the Tom Cruise movie was, Oblivion. So I'm not so sure that I want to really take this in.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen Oblivion?
Yes, I have.
Was it any good?
I would wait for the dollar movies myself.
Netflix.
Yeah.
It just didn't hold my attention all that much because it was a collection of cliches from science fiction movies prior, and action movies for that matter. I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, and honestly, from what I've seen of After Earth, which is really one trailer, but I kind of expect the same. It doesn't look like anything original to me.
In that trailer for After Earth, I have not seen anybody but the father and son as humans in that trailer. And I'm thinking, okay, so we're going to procreate how?
Well, and I think it's just a matter of them crashing on an uninhabited world, whether it's Earth or not. I don't even remember, but it's. I believe it was. I
believe they crashed
similar
land
to
on Earth.
Oblivion in that it was an abandoned Earth, so there aren't any people there.
Yeah.
It's a matter of them trying to survive long enough to get off the planet. Which,
It's going to have some fascinating effects, but I'm not sure that, to me, that I don't know that the story will carry it all that far.
Well, you got to remember this is also the summer too.
Yes.
The stories tend to suffer during summertime movies. Not that they don't suffer all year round, but the odds are greater that it's going to be more effects driven than story driven.
pretty much.
Unfortunately.
And the trailer looked very effects driven. It was very pretty, but it wasn't really anything we haven't seen in Avatar. So, at least not that I could tell.
Okay, did you want to go back and talk about Epic then? Les?
I look forward to Epic. I love animation to begin with, so this one intrigues me too.
I haven't seen anything on it, so I don't know anything about it. So
I saw a TV spot and it looked cute, but I don't know.
I've seen so many spots on the Disney channels right now because they're kind of behind it, and
And because that's the kind of TV he watches. But anyway.
it just intrigues me. A character is shrunk down and finds the little people, the minute people living in her garden, and they're trying to protect the world. It's her interaction with them, and also finding out about everything that's so large that is tough to cope with. Amanda Seyfried, Josh, I want to say Harrington, and several others are involved in this, and it just looks like it's fun.
okay, go ahead.
Josh Hutcherson.
Hutcherson, thank you.
Colin Farrell's in it.
Woohoo!
And Johnny Knoxville. Yes.
Okay, see, that would make you go see the movie. That's a driving force.
Uh-huh.
What comes out in June?
Well, I've got June 14th.
No. There's a movie coming out June 7th.
Okay, what?
Much Ado About Nothing.
Okay,
Which
what about it?
sounds crazy until you realize that it's a Joss Whedon movie.
That's true. That's true.
And we got to hit the Joss Whedon fanboys right here and now.
That's right.
This was made basically over the course of like a week and a half or something in a break he had in the Avengers stuff. So it's got a bunch of Whedonverse favorites doing Shakespeare
Huh.
in black and white.
Okay.
This is what I'm actually looking forward to. Crazy as that sounds.
I'll probably check it out.
Same here. I enjoy Shakespeare. What about when is Now You See Me coming out?
Now You See Me, same week as After Earth, May 31st.
Because that one intrigues me about the magicians that make a man disappear, and when he reappears, money is given out to the audience that he stole from a Paris bank. So it's got science fiction involved in this one, and it just looks intriguing.
Could be interesting.
Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson. I've seen the previews a couple of times, and I'm kind of fascinated by it.
Cool.
What one were you going to pick up there, Thomas?
Yeah, June 14th. Oh, no, we can't talk about that one. Where'd he go?
Which one is that?
Man of Steel.
Oh. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, finally watched the trailer today, and I'm like, okay. I think they've got me hooked.
Which trailer?
The most recent one.
The one that starts with Jor-El overlooking the battlefield?
Yeah.
It's got one problem with that scene, though. Just looking at that scene, the sun looks yellow.
Ooh, good catch. I didn't notice.
Yeah. Troy mentioned that Saturday night at Meetup, among other things that he happened to mention. And
Don't go there.
I didn't go in there. I just mentioned that he mentioned that.
Well, he's set against going to see it in the first place, so.
Yeah, he knows what's going to happen because just by the trailer, so he's not interested, and that's fine.
It's an origin story. Everybody knows what's going to happen. Come on. Anyway.
It does look interesting.
I prefer there's. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say those who complain about the whole issue with maybe the whole thing with the maybe in one of the earlier trailers, if they've seen this trailer, they can show that they can see that Jonathan is not a callous father. He's a loving father.
Yes.
He's trying to protect his son.
Well, and like we mentioned before, and we're not going to go into this too much because we've already talked about it before, is we did not see the entire conversation. We just saw that snippet, and that was just enough to get the reaction that we got. That was why it was designed that way.
It's a hook, people. Stuff all the time in trailers. They're trying to trick you into going to see the movie. It's not hard. They've been doing it for centuries.
Well, some people that's turned people away, and hey, that's their problem. That's their prerogative. Yep.
You're lost.
Anything else that week? You're kind of get you. Not that week. Not the Apostles of Comedy.
I don't know who are the Apostles.
I have no idea.
I just have heard of.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
Faith-based comedy, folks.
Woohoo.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. June 21st.
Yeah, June 21st. World War Z.
See, this was my Brad Pitt reference.
It all ties together.
Eventually.
You just got to give it time.
Patience is a virtue. And the jokes don't really get any better either, folks.
To heck with patience, I want to kill something.
Well, World War Z will be your chance to see lots of things get killed.
That's true.
And lots of things get killed.
Lots of dead things get killed.
It ought to be. Go ahead.
The previews I've seen do intrigue me. I do want to see this movie because the scene of the zombies attacking the wall like ants just amazed me. I said, this is something cool. Just crawling up on top of one another to try to reach the top. And if they fell, big deal. Somebody else would be right behind them. I thought that was really intriguing.
Go ahead.
Well, and then if you read the book World War Z, this should be fun.
Has anybody noticed on the poster? I've seen this mentioned several times on Facebook that there is a cat among the group of zombies.
That was photoshopped, dude.
Oh, was it? Okay. Dope. I fell for it.
Did it look like Bill the cat?
No, it looked just like a cute little kitty falling out of the helicopter.
Oh.
It was shopped.
Oh well.
Well, Bill the cat always looked like a zombie to me, so.
Yeah, kind of. So, Tom, how many days beforehand are you going to camp out for that?
Me?
Yeah, because we all know you love zombie movies.
Well, I probably go see this. I don't know when, but I mean it's based off Max Brooks. It is Max Brooks' book, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So yeah, it ought to be good.
I think so.
Also, that Friday, on the opposite end of the spectrum, kind of, Monsters University. We're kind of dealing with monsters, yet it's more family-friendly.
I'm in. The previews I've seen of it I thought were fun. You get to find the background between Sully and Mike. So, how they met and how they competed in college.
Like I said, it's a prequel.
It's Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. It's animation.
Okay. The following week, we have White House Down. Oh, yeah, I know it's...
Channing Tatum.
Yep.
As an agent to protect the president, played by Jamie Foxx.
I'd vote for him.
Who, Channing Tatum or Jamie Foxx?
Jamie Foxx for president.
You're just taken in by the liberal medium.
Probably. Because I'm such a sheep when it comes to that sort of thing.
Nothing else that week really drives me, makes me want to go to the movies.
Okay. Not even The Heat with Sandra Bullock?
Is that where she plays an FBI agent?
Yep.
I've seen the previews. It's kind of funny, but it's not one that I'd expect a line of people to wait for.
Yeah. So in other words, it's a Netflix one for you, huh?
Probably so.
Okay.
I'm probably going to lean towards Neverflix on that one.
Okay.
But I don't know
Okay.
if it might be interesting.
Okay, the following week.
Week of 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
Vampire movie of the year, and you blow me off. Anyway,
What? Well, go ahead. What? Which one is it?
Byzantium?
Okay.
It's right there.
Yeah, I see it.
You know,
Who's in that?
Rachel Weisz is in it.
Oh, okay.
Gemma,
No,
Gemma
no,
Arterton?
not Rachel Weisz. What was I thinking?
I have no idea.
Whatever. Oh yeah, Gemma Arterton's in it.
Yep.
Other people. Neil Jordan directs it. Could be interesting.
Is it a romance type vampire movie, or is it a straight-laced vampire movie?
I'm not seeing much here, but it doesn't really look all that romancy.
Okay, no sparkling vampires.
No promises. I haven't seen effects. I haven't seen a trailer, but
Okay.
I'm hoping not.
Okay, the following week. And I apologize for that, Mike.
No, that's fine.
Despicable Me 2. I know Les will be there. With bells on.
Yes, he will. Yes, I've watched the two trailers, the two teasers they've got online, and both of them make me laugh.
Mikey?
I didn't know it was coming out, so that's the first I've seen of it.
Okay.
Could be fun. The first one was okay.
Also, Wednesday, July 3rd. I hate to say this, but I'm kind of coming around on this. I've gone from I'm not interested to I don't know. Lone Ranger. From what I've seen, it's not the movie that everybody was talking about it was going to be when they first started shooting. At least that's what it looks like. But teasers can be deceptive.
Yes, they can. Directed by Gore Verbinski, who brought us
the Pirates.
Pirates flicks.
Oh yeah, it's
looking at the poster. I can see the Disney logo on it.
I
don't know.
Depp looks just like he did in Pirates. He's got.
It's not that different, really.
Yeah, it's basically going to be Pirates, except for it's in the West, and you've got Lone Ranger and Tano.
Pirates of the Desert this time instead of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep, pretty much.
But anyway.
Dark Pirates of the Desert. It's told from Tonto's perspective, is it not?
That's what everything's been. That's what they've been saying, but the trailers don't don't really give you that feeling. So who knows? It may be, and they just the way the trailer has been put together. It's just kind of the action sequences and a couple of humorous lines and that kind of stuff. So it's like I said, it's looking better than I figured it would be, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to see more.
See more what?
See more of the movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the following week, Pacific Rim.
I looked it up and I kind of liked it. I thought it was kind of cool.
It's basically giant robots versus giant monsters.
Mm-hmm. I could live with that.
Especially since it's Del Toro.
Yep.
If anybody can pull that off, it's him.
It might be pretty interesting.
It might be a Godzilla ripoff too, but anyway.
Well, Godzilla and Robotech or whatever else you want to throw in there too. So
doesn't mean it won't be entertaining.
No, not saying that either. And of course, the same weekend, just because everybody was screaming for it, Grown Ups 2.
Screaming.
It wasn't me, but
they've been put down since then. I was not all that impressed with Grown Ups, but it's a way that Adam Sandler can get back on screen. So,
because that's so important.
Mm. And also that weekend, I have not even seen the first one, but there's VHS 2.
I don't know that.
Hell?
It's a horror movie.
Would you watch the movie and you die 7 days later?
Well, if they do that, I think I see a lawsuit in the future. Let me pull this up here. Inside a darkened house looms a column of TVs littered with VHS tapes, a pagan shrine to forgotten analog gods. The screen crackle and pop endlessly with monochrome vistas of static, white noise permeating the brain and fogging concentration. But you must fight the urge to relax. This is no mere movie night. Those obsolete spools contain more than just magnetic tape. They are imprinted with the very soul of evil.
Okay, if the movie is anywhere near as good as that paragraph, it'll be awesome. Something tells me, however, that it probably won't quite live up.
Dope.
That is an incredibly well-written synopsis,
Yep.
which scares me. If they put that much work into the synopsis, then the movie can't be any good. I hope I'm wrong.
Especially when the cast is not even listed.
Yeah. Well, if it's a horror film, it's not like they have to have big names in them.
Yeah, but you'd like to have a name that they understand. The last one, Pacific Rim, has Idris Elba, which is a name. You know, he's a fine actor, so hopefully it'll draw people. But you would want more than just one person anyway. Or you would want at least one person for VHS 2. Does this make you want to go put VHS on your real Netflix right away? I don't see.
Oh.
I don't know. I'll have to actually look and do a little research about the first one and see if it's interesting enough.
Yeah. See if it's worth checking out.
Yep.
Yeah, but see, you're not as into horror, probably less. I mean.
Oh, I love horror movies.
Yeah.
Hey.
So he says.
Anyway, the following week, RIPD, which apparently is there's enough interest that's actually renewing interest in the old comics. This is based off a comic book of police detectives who are dead, and they're investigating the dead.
And for some reason, I see a lot of humor in this movie. You've got Ryan Reynolds and you've got Jeff Bridges. Mm-hmm. I got a feeling that we're going to have some one-liners flying through there.
There's the potential, anyway.
And of course, you got Kevin Bacon as the villain.
Yes.
So yeah, I think I'm in on this one.
That's a busy weekend.
Yep. That is a busy weekend, because that is also the weekend of Red 2.
I want to see it.
Hang on a minute.
What?
I just clicked on it, and so I'm looking at the stuff, and it has Morgan Freeman in it.
Yeah, I think they added him for this one.
No, he died in the first one.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, they added him since he died in the first one. Unless it's a flashback.
It's a crossover with RIPD.
Yeah. Not to say it won't be entertaining. The first one was pretty good.
Well, like I said to Mike, I have not seen the first one, but I've heard good things about it, so I do need to sit down and watch it.
It's worth a Netflix snag. It's pretty entertaining.
And it was based on a comic book too.
Well, yeah, and I told that based on the Warren Ellis story.
Yeah.
The following weekend, Friday, July 26th, The Wolverine.
You're going to pass on the Conjuring?
Okay, are you going to... Okay, talk about it.
I haven't been able to find all that much about it. But it's based on a true story. So, Ron Livingston is about the only... Ron Livingston is about the only name that I recognize from this.
Well, James Wan directed it.
Patrick Wilson is a name. So is Lily Taylor, sort of.
Like I said,
If you saw Patrick Wilson, you'd recognize him.
Yeah.
That's probably true. But I'm just tossing that out there because of our fan group.
That's
case
true.
they're into that sort of thing.
Well,
Yep.
in that case, we shouldn't skip over Turbo either. Though I know nothing about it. It's another animated DreamWorks.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it was directed by James Wan, who co-wrote and directed the first Saw film, and also directed Dead Silence, and he's directed some other stuff too. So he's familiar with the genre. Anybody interested in the Wolverine?
I don't know.
It looks kind of interesting. Everybody's expecting, since they said it's based off the Chris Claremont, Frank Miller miniseries, that it's going to be just a direct adaptation of that. And from what I've seen, it's not. But it's still kind of interesting.
Well, don't we already know the origin story, just like we know that of Superman?
Well, that didn't cover the origin. It covered him in his time in Japan.
Yeah, well, let me just say that Marvel doesn't do connections with their stories all that much, because Weapon X, or Weapon 10 actually is what it is. You get Weapon 10, then you get that origin of Wolverine where the bones are supposedly coming out of his body, things like that. They need to decide on what they want to do. They need to decide on a story and stay with it.
No, they don't.
Well, I mean, like I said, this is his time in Japan where he fell in love and got married, and it was the whole thing with that, and with the hand and all the hand, the ninja organization. I've seen the trailer, and it looks really interesting. No, the Foot's turtles.
Yeah.
So both of y'all are out on Wolverine. Yeah, y'all are out on Wolverine. I'll probably go see it. It looks interesting.
I was just really disappointed in the last one.
Well, I think they've acknowledged that was a mistake, and I think they're gonna. I think this is an attempt to right the ship. So. Anything else that weekend you're interested in?
I'm a little burned out on Wolby. No. Next weekend we got some cool stuff coming.
And what is that, Mike?
Smurfs 2, baby.
Well, that comes out that Wednesday. Yep.
Okay, I might be being sarcastic there.
Two Guns comes out that Friday.
300 comes out. That's what I want to see. it'll have enough animation in it for me.
Two Guns is based off a graphic novel that was written, that was put out by Boom Studios a few years ago, and it stars Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg, and I mean, look at it, who else is in it? James Marsden, Bill Paxton, Edward James Olmos. The trailer looks pretty good. I mean, it's not, granted, it's it's coming from Boom, but it's not a superhero. It's dealing with a DEA agent and naval intelligence officers who are undercover.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
I've not read the graphic novel. I have recently got my hands on it, so I want to check it out. But it sounds interesting. And I'm just glad that there's something out there that's from Boom. They're going to be. I've already posted something within the last couple of weeks about them. They're going to reprint the graphic novels and get it out there in the stores by the time in time for the movie.
Good.
So that'd be cool.
Good.
So y'all are interested in Rise of an Empire?
That could be interesting.
I really enjoyed the first one, and I'm hoping that this will be something close.
If it's half as entertaining, it'll be fun.
Do we know who the writer was on this?
I'm going to take a look at it real quick. Let me check on IMDb because it's not listed here.
What I'm seeing doesn't show. Writer Zack Snyder, a couple other guys.
Kurt Johnstad. And they gave Frank Miller a writing credit because it's based off his graphic novel.
Okay.
So, okay. The following Wednesday, August 7th, we have Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters.
And that's the second one in the series, right?
You got me. I've not read the books.
I think that is. The first one was entertaining. I don't know how they'll do with this. I have not read the books either.
Yeah, I'm out of my league on this one. I'm not familiar.
And then that Friday, we have Disney's Planes.
Which is, I guess, Cars with Wings.
I think they're trying to do a theme because I think there was cars and then planes, and I think they're going to do trains too.
Could be.
Did they do a trains? I don't remember. Then you can do a marathon: planes, trains, and automobiles.
Cars. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yay. You were wasn't there a movie this weekend you were talking about there, Mike?
This weekend?
That particular weekend. Maybe I was mistaken. You got the Metallica Through the Never.
I did note that, but I wasn't really going to bring it up. There wasn't, or I didn't mention it, but Elysium looks like it might be interesting.
Elysium, I've seen the previews, and that does look good.
And Lovelace is that weekend, too.
Moving on.
Okay.
There's some names in this blood.
Yeah, I was just looking at that, too.
I don't know what it is. I'm not.
Well, I'm wondering No, that's not it.
It looks like a cop movie, honestly, but
Yeah.
no, some names in there.
Yeah, Brian Cox and Mark
Bettany.
Strong.
Paul Bettany,
Yep.
maybe.
Okay, the following weekend, Kick-Ass 2.
Cool.
That's what I think too.
It was funny because Percy Jackson was supposed to be the same weekend. Was supposed to be on the 16th, and then they moved Kick-Ass to that weekend, and then they moved Percy Jackson up a week. A week and a half, actually.
I don't know why they really think they're going to get the same audience there. Why would they keep moving it if they didn't think they were competing? And why would in the world would they think they were competing?
No, don't ask me.
In this case, Mike, I think they're looking at Percy Jackson and saying, we want to make money before Kick-Ass comes out. If we release on the 16th, then we're getting nobody into the theater.
That makes sense.
That's a good point.
We can get them on a 1-2 punch.
Yep.
Right.
That makes sense.
What is paranoia?
A boss blackmails one of his young employees to spy on a rival company.
Forget it.
Yeah, corporate thriller.
By Harrison Ford, Gary Oldman, Amber Heard. Kind of an interesting cast there. And I can tell that y'all are really impressed.
I bet it'll make some money.
I don't know. Doesn't really look like anything. Excuse me, that weekend. The following weekend, and that, according to this, pretty much ends the summer movie season. The Mortal Instruments.
Yeah, reading the synopsis, it does look like an interesting movie. Secret cadre of young half-angel warriors locked in an ancient battle to protect our world from demons. So that will go for those people that like supernatural.
Well, this Your Next sound kind of interesting.
Could be fun.
When a gang of masked, axe-wielding murderers descend upon the Davison family reunion, the hapless victims seem trapped until an unlikely guest of the family proves to be the most talented killer of them all.
Who's in it?
I'm not familiar with any of these names.
The names don't really jump out at me. Hang on, let me see. Whoa. Okay. I'm looking over here on IMDb, and the names and the faces are not jumping out at me.
Okay.
I mean, the only one that jumps out is Barbara Crampton, and she was in Reanimator. And Trancers 2. But, I mean, the others, they're not jumping out at me right now.
Well, I know it's not a monster movie, but World's End looks interesting. That's a Simon Pegg, Nick Frost movie.
They are billing it as the kind of the third one in the series there.
A trilogy. Oh no.
Yep.
Isn't that 4 movies, though, that they've been in?
It only lists it. Yeah, but it lists Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
What was the one where they were... Hot Fuzz. Shaun of the Dead, Paul, and this one. I know they've done a lot more together, but those are the ones that they're noted for.
Right. Yeah. These are the ones that Edgar Wright directed. So maybe that's the distinction.
Okay.
I don't know. I just stumbled across it.
So what do you think? Interesting summer?
I think there's enough to keep me busy.
Yeah. There's enough interesting stuff going on that we will be amused.
Alrighty.
Even if some of them are dogs, which they're bound to be.
Well, the colony looks interesting, too. Humans survive underground during a new ice age. And that's with Lawrence Fishburne. And that's that. But like I said, yeah, there's enough there to keep me going to the movies. When do we suit up?
I don't know.
Iron Man is free comic book day.
Yeah, I was thinking that weekend's a killer weekend. Because you got Iron Man 3, free comic book day. Les and I have been invited to a convention in was it San Marcos?
Yeah, I believe so.
And of course, that's also Texas Frightmares weekend too.
Yeah, I've got a feeling I'm not going to be able to make that trip.
Oh, I know I can't make that trip. But I mean, just so much else going on, and that's just off the top of my head. I was thinking there was other things going on that weekend. It's a busy weekend. But I think there's going to be some good movies this summer. Now, of course, some of these will flop. You already mentioned that, but I'm kind of excited. Is there any one of those in particular that kind of you're maybe a little bit more jazzed than the others?
I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff I'm just learning about right now, so it's hard to tell. But I am kind of looking forward to Kick-Ass 2. I am kind of interested in R.I.P.D. World War Z should be fun. I don't know.
Les?
If I had to pick 3, I'd probably go Man of Steel, Now You See Me, and Despicable Me 2.
Man of Steel for me, R.I.P.D. Those are the ones right off the top of my head. I mean, there's a few others that I'm interested in, but the ones that I'm really, yes. But those are the ones that I really are interested in. So.
I'm ready for it.
Yep. I think it's going to be a good summer.
I want to get the taste of oblivion out of my mouth. Sorry.
No. I'm glad to have the warning that it's not good, honestly. Because I mean, some of the stuff I'd seen, the trailer I thought actually looked interesting. To find out that that was misleading is nice,
Wait, a trailer can be misleading?
especially for a Tom Cruise movie.
Wow.
I learned a long time ago not to trust trailers from Tom Cruise movies.
Yeah.
See Mission Impossible 2, Mission Impossible 3.
Actually, I've heard 3 is good. I have not seen it. 2 is 2 is horrible.
2 was terrible. I'm trying to remember if I saw 3.
3 was with Philip Seymour Hoffman as the villain.
Then no, I didn't see 3. And
I've been told I should see 3, but I hadn't. And of course, I hadn't seen 4.
I wouldn't see 4 if you threatened to beat my family with a lead pipe. So.
What, you would do a matador move and just go, Olay?
Okay, perhaps I exaggerate a bit.
No, he go over there.
Over there?
Over there. Over there. Anything else you want to say before we make our announcement and close things for the evening?
Nothing I can think of, sir.
Yeah.
Outside of Free Comic Book Day coming up.
Be sure to get to your stores and pick up some free stuff.
Get out there early, folks.
Yes.
Not that stuff disappears.
Yeah, get some free stuff, and retailers usually have some sales going on, too.
True.
So.
They do try to make it worth your while to show up.
Yep.
So you should.
Yep.
Go buy comics.
And Les and I will be at Awesome Comics that day.
I will see if I can show up for a little bit.
Okay. Did we settle on the time of like noon to 4? Something around there?
I hope so, yeah.
Okay. Well, it may not have to be that long, but at least a couple of...
That'd be fun.
Yeah. They usually are. So. I'll have something on the website.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I was just going to do that for you.
Go ahead. What?
I'm sure we'll post something on the website and on Facebook, letting
Yep.
everybody know when we'll be there.
Yep. We will do that once we have everything ironed out, definitely. Also, I guess I'll go ahead and do the announcement that we kind of teased a couple weeks ago.
Dun, dun, dun.
Things are not completely finalized, but we're about 99% there. This is our last live broadcast, and of course, if you're watching repeats, then of course this is not live. But
You don't care. But
you don't care. But anyway, starting the week of June 6th, or May 6th, I'm sorry. I don't know where I got June. May 6th, starting that week, we'll be going weekly, but we will not be live. There will be a format change. If you are familiar with how we did the show back on our Ustream days, it's going to be similar to that, but the goal is to handle more topics, be a little bit more headline oriented, talk about some
structured and organized and all that other stuff that we're not.
something like that, but also be fun. So, like I said, it's pretty much a done deal. We just need to iron out a couple other things, but that is the route we're going. Looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. I hope y'all enjoy it. I'm sure. Mike and Les will be back with the new format. We're hoping to get James back with us. He has not been able to be with us, and we do miss him. And hopefully, he'll be with us again real soon. But it's going to be a blast. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm ready for that.
How about you, Mikey?
Oh, all right. If we must.
Okay.
No, it'll be fun. We'll make it fun, damn it.
Yeah. And with the and with that, we're also going to do what we can to get the shows on iTunes and Stitcher as audio files, not video files. At least that's the plan right now.
Yeah, people don't need to see us. It's probably better if they don't see us.
Yeah. So, looking forward to it. It ought to be a lot of fun, and it's just a couple of weeks away. So, with that, any final thoughts before we say good evening, guys?
No,
I'm completely out of thoughts now.
Okay. Alrighty. So y'all
Final
take it
word.
easy. Remember that Free Comic Book Day is just a little less than 2 weeks away. So please participate. It's always fun. And with that, we will talk to you later.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Good night.